That in Bayelsa, the northeastern part of the country, yes, in a bid to equip, in the second month, and yes, in some of those messages during this General Workers Conference, urge believers to emulate Christ's ministry of goodness. All right, there's a lot to talk about this morning as well.
Just joining us. It is day 2 in the month of February, the year 2026, and now we'll begin. Being currently on strike has grounded hospitals across the nation, according to reports. The ongoing strike by the JSU, Nigeria, leaving patients stranded and forcing many to seek essential services. 2025 is not open. The laboratories and other supporting the part have, well, some of them they have returned to work, but in federal hospitals activities have been crowned in over and over again, but looks like JSU is not backing down, and this is affecting the quality of health care that people they discharge some patients who are not even supposed to be discharged in the first place because care cannot continue for them, and now this is the third month.
Yes, there's well attended too because of the ongoing strike. And yes, they don't at the federal level, but because of this strike action, decided to stay at the state-owned hospital. And yes, some of the workers, there's health workers that did lamented, even doctors, that yes, training could not go on in most of these hospitals. Training medical personnel could not go on because of this joint action of JOHESO, which is spanning, because it still continues rather. And some of the demands is based on the agreement or with the government for in 2018. That's what they're seeking, for the implementation of that agreement. That's the content of the circular which was passed in 2018 from the Federal Ministry of Labor, which concerns their just in late 2025. And yes, apart from the revenue losses that has been recorded so far because of this action, there's been activities of because how many persons will be able to afford having to take their patients out of the country to other countries, Nigeria. And now that we're even talking about how to regulate our private hospitals in terms, according to Dr. Oluwafunmilayo Dada of the National Association of Resident Doctors, being rendered by doctors at the hospitals. So, but yes, in whichever we want to talk about it, if doctors are not directly, affected, but yes, what about the, other support staffs, that
Yes, moving away from that to another update on, of course, to another story on our trends for this morning, and that's the revelation that the presidency has spent 34 billion naira on forex in 2 years, and all of this money is attributed to traveling by the presidency. The presidency is said to have spent at least 34.39 billion naira on foreign according to the figure compiled by GovSpend, a government spending tracker managed by budget. The record covers transaction by the State House swing in spending patterns between 2024 and 2025. In 2024, there was a the total forex purchased was 29.35 billion naira, and in 2025 there was a record of 5.4 billion naira, recording with broader trends, and the foreign exchange markets where naira stabilized.
Maintain that such trips are quite necessary for diplomacy. It's not necessary but some of these things or impact of this foreign forex on the economy. 2024 and also 25, where we have about additional transfer of 205 air fleet forex bill. At the end of the day, it's history, but the only cause for concern when health matter has to be involved in some of these trip where some of the proceeds. And yes, the report shows that it's not just about the president, about the office of the chief of staff, all totaled on this figure, 34 billion naira in just 2 years.
Yes, stable now. So it kind of reduces what is being spent on forex. That's so that's at least we are not economy. There's still some more news to talk about on our news trends for this morning. But let's take a break and we'll be back to stay with us.
Television. Moving ahead now to another story that is trending in Nigeria. Don't forget that in the wake of agitation to have a republic of their own in southeast Nigeria, there's been a declaration in that part by some individuals to observe a sit-at-home, specifically in Anambra or some other. Governor Chukwuma Soludo in recent time have decided to clap down on this issue of sit-at-home, and it mentioned that it must put a stop. The citizens just must put a stop to that. And today there's been there'll be over this continued observance of the Monday determination to end the weekly show of Biafra, that's IPOP, in protest against the detention of its leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the Onitsha main market for 1 week, where it directed that it must be reopened today. And this move alone has sparked protest by the IPOP sympathizers, who responded by also declaring sit-at-home across markets in the southeast.
Yes, Cairo weekly and driving customers to neighboring states. Of course, last week he had decreed that the markets be shut for 1 full week. This measure is to serve as a corrective measure, insisting that leadership sometimes requires inconvenient steps to secure the future. Traders have been encouraged to open their markets today to avoid further drastic measures. Security agencies have, and of course without attack from the indigenous people of Biafra. I know that sit-at-home, which is not really benefiting anybody. Yes. There was a time students were not allowed to write exams due to this sit-at-home. It only gets to affect the common man. There are people whose only means of survival are these businesses, students who have to go to school, people who have major things to do, and then you declare sit-at-home that ends up impacting their life negatively and has not really brought any major
of sit-at-home, costing what the loss, the revenue loss for the state to amount to 19.6 billion naira every Monday, which on the main market alone, is losing around 8 billion naira, on a weekly basis. And yes, the assembly, the state assembly, has also backed to reduce that action, and the one that up to 12 more markets could be short if they continue to observe this at home, order. So let's see how far these would change, in Anambra State, and in turn, improve the economy of the state. All right, a lot to talk about trend in Nigeria, but that's much we will take this morning. We've been able to tell you how the sit at home of which the governor Soludo did mention that yes, it will no longer hold in Anambra State, and yes, schools market must open on Monday because yes, the government and yes, the market is losing about 19.8 billion naira. And also we did talk about the presidency where reports shows that they spent 34 billion naira on forex in 2 years. And yes, that's another story that we brought to you trending in Nigeria. Also, we began the trends with the health workers that strike, which report shows this morning that yes, has granted activities in the hospitals. All right, this morning we'll take on our trends for this morning. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at what we have on the front pages of our national dailies. Do stay with us. before staying viewers on different television. Moving ahead now on Vanguard. Vanguard newspaper says businesses buckle under debt as default push bad loan to 21.2 trillion naira. And rather says high interest rates, FX shocks, end of COVID forbearance trigger spike in corporate loan failure. Still all the Vanguard 2027 poll, fear of postponement looms over delayed electoral law. And moving ahead on the Vanguard, I have Sanwo-Olu to youths participate in politics before it's late. And the more story says Osun Assembly vowed to recover all diverted local government funds. 2030 World Cup, Super Eagles begins to qualify June. CAF confirmed dates. And above them played have a goal of defection, while Nigeria's democracy is not working. And that's coming from Ibrahim Gambari. Ondo Ogun clash. Ogun governor clash over oil well in Eba Iceland. And have another one again. Bandit storm Niger community, raised a police station, church, about villages. And the writer says that 80 Kajuru worshippers escape as bandit hold 86 in captivity. And lastly, that's much I have on Vanguard for today.
On the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Nigerians turn to survivor businesses as formal jobs dry up. P6 has details. Obi forced Tinubu on multiple foreign trips. 2027 agenda. Tinubu's reforms saved 27 states from collapse, says Minister. House defends delay in passage of Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Reactivate standby force against Sahel threats. Tinubu tells ECOWAS, details on page 3 of The Guardian. EDA asks the United States to sanction Nigerians linked to security funds diversion. Taking more headlines. 2027 Atiku talks with ADP leaders amidst Obi Kwakwanso alliance rumor. Terrorists raise church, police station in Niger. Osun Assembly vows to recover diverted local government funds. Investors, farmers lament as agri sector loses 5 trillion naira in 2 years. Anxiety as Soludo reopens Onitsha market. Wando announces 32% production growth, 3.2 trillion naira revenue in 2025. That's the merchant front page of the Guardian newspaper.
The Nation has the story. General Musa Auko attempt was foiled at planning stage. All right, the writer says doing the coup now impossible. Nigerians will have resisted it. And details is right on the front page, continues on page 4. How government policies reshaped forex transaction. The story is right there also. Why Labour Party won't go into coalition by OT. The story says, I will produce my successor in your state, marking the post. Stories on page 7. ISWAP, second in command, killed in massive attack. Stories on page 5. And lastly, 80 Komil Wali as abductee escaped from kidnappers' den. The smudge outtake on the Nation.
On the front page of New Telegraph, source: military officers smuggle arms on board aircraft, threatening airlines, airport staff. On Minister to meet Tinubu over security breaches at airport P2 as details. Soldiers killed as troops confront bandits in Zamfara. On the riders, terrorists kill one, abducts mother, killed 4 children, burn church, police stations in Niger. Fragments are perpetrators of Benue killings today. 9 bandits save Evans, Defense Minister urges Nigerians, and details on pages 4, 5, and 26. Workers' plight. Labour to shut down FCTA February 3 with solidarity rally. Tinubu's reforms saved 27 states from collapse, federal government says. Osun Assembly vows to recover all diverted government funds. That's on page 2 of New Telegraph. Sarab sues NPC Limited over failure to account for missing 22.3 billion naira, $49.7 million oil money. Above the nameplate, FAAC electronic money transfer levy up 106% to 440.32 billion naira in 2025. And there's a report Nigeria's data center investment to grow by 48.4% to $544 million. That's the much on the front page of the New Telegraph.
Yes, on the front page of the Daily Trust, it says Tinubu abroad 22 days in 1 month. All right, the details are right there. History impact as Governor Bani inaugurates world-class scientific research training center in Yobe. And the rival says Fidels Yobe Teen Eagle competition winner. And that's much I have on Daily Trust.
On the front page of the Punch newspaper, travels. Presidency spent 34 billion naira on forex in 2 years. Foreign trips, aircraft maintenance costs fall as FX purchases plunged 83% in 2025. Page 2 has more details. Osun Assembly, APC chairman clash over local government fund. Makoko demolition. Lagos Assembly to meet community leaders today. Tuesday, Wanda records 3.2 trillion naira revenue amid oil production surge. Beside the nameplates, Ogun, Ondo in fresh battle over oil-rich boundary highland. Above the nameplates, cool. I was marked for arrest, assassination. This is coming from the Defense Ministry. At the Defense Minister, DHQ faces it as military personnel bypass airport checks. House workers strike ground hospitals. That's much on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
Now let's take a look at this day. This day says coup attempt was targeted for elimination, says the Defense Minister. The writer says Interpol after civilian suspect on the run. Discloses Nigeria's security pact with Turkey not to spite US. I am in political transition. Could join ABC soon, says FCDS. Alright, this is right there. Above the nameplate, World Bank's Nigeria portfolio hits $16 billion amid efforts to accelerate growth, job creation. Details of that also, is on the front page, continues on the inside page. And lastly, story taken. Dangote NNPC seals strategic gas agreement to aid African conglomerate expansion drive. And that's more I have on the front page of this day.
On the front page of Nigerian Tribune, West African leaders meet in Ghana, agree on regional security framework, say region now global epicenter of terrorism, violent extremism. Page 2 has details. Oil spill. Ida youth threatening to shut down oil facilities. Oil discovery at Eba, Ogun government reaffirms jurisdiction, cites legal, historical evidence. Oil National Park Office, police arrest 7 suspects. My team will continue where I stopped in 2027. This is coming from Makinde as Peter Obi, Lord Governor of Uplift of State. Page 2 has more details. Labour Party holds congresses in March. Oti Usman Hojabore orders to sheath swords, seek reconciliation. Party wishes to be well in ADC. Your victory is temporary, Abure comes to reply. Page 22 has details. Above the nameplate, Osun Assembly vows to recover all diverted local government funds. Restates oversight, legislative power over local government. Free meters, disclose the Prime Minister's directive, focus on Band A customers. Concern over huge cash outside banking system, despite surging digital transaction. That's much on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
That's much would be taken on a newspaper review front page of a newspaper for this morning. You can join us tomorrow for another episode of that segment. Alright, we'll take a break now and welcome our Frontline. We continue.